So I'm the owner of a game company here in Sacramento called Stigma Games. I've worked as a designer for a long time. There's not a lot of game development happening in Sacramento, so the options really are to leave or to do freelance. And so I've done a lot of freelance stuff. I've worked for big companies. I've done design work for Dungeons & Dragons. I've done a lot of really tiny, awful, terrible things that I actually told people, please don't put my name on this.
Is your name on it?
No. So that's a bonus. And so that's pretty much what I do. I'm a game designer. I also do. I'm also a writer. I've been a published author. Been published many times. Nothing you guys have ever heard of, unfortunately. So that's me.
Brian, how did you get into the industry, and how did you know that it was the career for you?
Well, I would say I first started playing Dungeons & Dragons. My parents, a lot of parents don't want their kids doing that. My parents actually thought it would encourage me to read. So they got me into that box. It definitely did. And so I got involved in tabletop design, and I did that for quite a while. I took a big detour to be a professional musician. And try to make this, it's not really all that game related, but I'll tell the story anyways. We played, my band played this, I was in a band called Stigma. And we played this show in
And the name of your company is Stigma Games?
It's so cool. I see the connection.
Nice tie, yeah.
And so we played this show in Stockton, and we had never played in Stockton before. And it was this festival, and we were the first band on to play, and I remember playing, and there was these two girls right in the front, and they were singing along everything that I was singing. And I went, and I'm on stage singing and playing the bass, and these lyrics that I wrote, and they were singing along with me, and I'm thinking, they must have saw that we were playing, looked up on the internet, saw our band, listened to our songs, listened to the lyrics, and then wanted to listen to it so much that they memorized it. This band, that they had never heard of, that came to see and to listen to. And I thought, that moment right there was exactly why I wanted to create. The fact that I had that kind of effect on people, and I would have crawled through broken glass to play that show and have that kind of reaction from fans. And being in a band is really, really tough. And so too tough, and I went, you know what, I think I started off in video games. I think after being a professional musician for a long time, I'm going to go back to video games so I could have that same idea that I will write something that will affect people. And people will come up to me and tell me, hey, that character I thought was really interesting. Or maybe one day I'll see people cosplaying as characters I created. And I went, I don't care what I have to do to get that point to where I'm affecting people like that, but that's my goal, and I'll accept nothing else in my life than to create. Yeah, one of the things, because I look at a lot of applications, a lot of people apply for my game company, and I'm always amazed how many artists will apply as a 2D animator and there's no 2D animations in the portfolio. What do you do? Why does this happen? So I'm amazed at how many artists don't prepare their portfolio for what they actually want to do. Or they'll do the opposite. They'll include every single terrible thing that they've ever done in their portfolio, and I go, I don't know who you are as an artist when I see good stuff. Maybe you spent 5 years on this, and then maybe your not so great stuff is what I can expect if I hire you.
Yeah, and how much did somebody help you achieve that? Like how much if I hire you, will I be one of my senior artists to help you get to that place, right?
Yeah. And one of the things that Eric is hitting on is networking and building a presence. I think that we get a decent amount of applications, but we're still a pretty small studio. I bet you, how many people here have ever heard of my game company?
Today? Does today count?
I was trying to make a point, but ooh, that was brutal.
It's Sacramento local, it's a surprise.
Ouch. All right, so how many people here have heard of Fifth Planet Games? Okay, I don't feel so bad.
All right, see? So we're
Fifth Planet
okay.
Games,
We're
based
okay.
in Rockland, pretty close to here. They have about 100 employees. They get covered on the local news a lot. Okay, you guys are not.
It's not just
Not
you.
appreciative of Sacramento.
Well, it's not that. Maybe they just
But-
we're looking at other states or
Yeah, okay, sure. So Fifth Planet, I talked to the recruiter because I know them, and the recruiter told me they posted for an artist, and they got, I think she said, or the recruiter said they got 500 applications And so if you imagine even studios that you guys have never heard of, imagine how much Blizzard gets when they post something. So I know Blizzard is kind of the exception in that their HR people actually do go through all their applications, but most of them don't. I'll give you an example. There was a content designer position that NCSoft was hiring for, and I applied for that and never heard anything back. A couple of months later, the recruiter got a hold of me, and because he knew some of the other work that I had done on another project, and he said, hey, there's this content designer position available at NCSoft. Do you think you might be interested in? And I was really tempted to be the one I applied for, but of course I'm smarter than to say that. The point I'm trying to make is that a lot of these companies, they don't look at the applications they get. What they do is they talk to their friends and they say, who do we know that knows how to do this? And so really, I think a crucial point of how to get into the game industry is one, either build an online presence for people that are actively going to search what they're looking for, like Eric has hinted at, or we'll probably talk a lot more about networking. That's a big part of it.
I would say some other specific little things. Always have your portfolio on your resume. I don't know how many people, actually just last week I was looking through resumes and I had no idea how to find them online. I was like, I don't know where your portfolio is. And then try to have your portfolio, your best stuff at the top of your site, at the beginning of your demo reel. Always do that because like Brian was saying, I don't have a lot of time to go through every single one as much as I should, but we're also in the middle of making some chaotic craziness of the game, and so we've got to just keep moving.
Brian, I'd like to ask you, if someone local reached out to you to do what Susan's just said and asked you to be their mentor, that might be a great way that they can shadow you or come into your studio and see what the day-to-day is like, right?
Yeah. I get hit up by local high schools and colleges a lot. We don't tend to do shadows just because we got to do work and whatnot. But there's a lot of kids that want me to meet with me, ask me some questions. I've had kids that they wanted to do a game project and they needed a mentor to kind of look over what they were doing, and so I've done that. But yeah, definitely, if people email me, I'll ask them, or I'll answer whatever questions they have. Usually people are surprised that I will write so much.
Yeah.
It's like, well, writer. I mean, I can just spew that stuff out pretty fast. So yeah, I have no problem with people emailing me questions or whatever in any way that I can help. The way I look at it is the more of you all that I can inspire to want to be in the game industry, the bigger the talent pool I have to recruit from. So I'll do whatever I can to help you guys get better because it benefits me as well.
But see, that's such a great example. Like, that's you saying how it helps you. So they can fulfill the need for you, which is the way to think about looking at a job.
I think you made a great point, and we said this on another panel, that you'd be surprised, as he said, people were surprised on his response. You'd be surprised how many people get excited to give you guys that information and to provide you that level of mentorship. It may sit in their inbox for 2 months because it's flagged as an action item, and they're like, I'll get to that, I promise. But a lot of people get excited by, I would love to help, because we've all been in that same position. We've all wanted to start. And like you said, it kind of does help us all in the industry.
So you're not.
Yeah, one of the things I wanted to add on to what Eric's saying about programming. So we must have been talking about writing in art. This is something that usually horrifies people when I tell young aspiring people who want to get in the industry. This is really common. You get people that grow up playing video games. They go, oh my God, I don't want to make video games. They go to school for it. They apply for every single game company they've ever heard of. They get that one company that's going to take a chance on them. They fly to the other side of the world or wherever that company is, do it for 3 months, and realize they hate it. If you are a recruiter and you take chances and continually take chances on people that quit, you're going to get fired. So recruiters are looking for people that can demonstrate that they love what they're doing. The best way a programmer can do that. Because if you get a degree in computer science, awesome. Do you know what a sprite sheet is? Do you know how to animate 3D assets? Not animate, but play the animations in a game engine. Do you know how to work with game engines? As a recruiter, I don't know by looking at your resume. You have a computer science degree, that's great. I've worked with a lot of people that had computer science degrees and had no idea how to make games, but applied anyways. How do I know? Well, I know by looking at their website. I know by looking at their terrible Pac-Man clones. They're terrible. I don't even care if the game's fun or not. What I care about is that you show that you really want to do this, and so you have a body of work.
Wow, that makes sense, absolutely makes sense.
Yeah, it almost sometimes the bigger industry company you've worked for and having that really polished portfolio, go back to art, sorry, but that polished portfolio or polished art isn't necessarily like, oh, this is, I gotta hire this person, because you may have been very specialized on doing that one thing, and I need you to be more broad.
Well, you can get a hold of me through stigmagames.com. You can connect me to me through LinkedIn. I'll
Yeah.
apologize in advance. I'm the one that's responsible for updating our website. That's why it's not updated. Because I'm really, really busy.
Many hats.
But if you contact Stigma Games, it goes right to me. So.
And I think that's it. I just want to give you guys a round of applause, and my panelists a round of applause.
If you have questions, if you guys have any-
Thank you guys. That was so cool.
Yeah, thank you.